Hello, this is Manesh Patel with the EII Capital Group. This is our weekly Ichimoku analysis for the currency market, where we'll be covering all the currencies out there, even some exotics. So let's begin. And this is our normal disclaimer. All charts are either in Thinkorswim or TradeStation. The music that you're hearing is for Guitarra. Also, this is for educational use only. We're not soliciting any trades or anything like that. Okay. Here are my contact details. We'll post this again, but you can follow us on Twitter at Ichimoku Trading. So let's begin, and let's go to the heat map as we normally do. If this is the first time watching this video, we have a heat map. It's a rating system that's basically based on the Ichimoku system. What we're looking for is 5 to 8 being bullish, where 8 is extreme bullish, and -5 to -8 being bearish, where -8 is extreme bearish. What we've done is we've given you two time frames here, the weekly and daily, and what you're looking for is the same rating, kind of like 5 on both of them, where you could enter trades either doing scalping, intraday trading, or long-term position trading or swing trading with those. Reason why is you definitely don't want to go against the trend, especially in the currency market, since this is the biggest trending market in the world. Okay, so if you let's look at the Euro USD, you can see that the weekly is neutral, the daily is extreme bullish. So there's conflict there on both of those time frames. It seems like the daily is now influencing the weekly. Euro pound USD daily is getting strong, and it's starting to make the weekly very strong too. We'll look at that one. Australian USD is extreme on both time frames. So is the New Zealand USD. US CAD. US CAD seems like it's trying to get back to par. As you can see, the daily is very strong, and the weekly it's getting weak. It's at its bearish point now. We'll look at US CAD too. US Switzy is extremely weak, bearish. So those are trending there. US yen is still bearish trending, which is interesting, since considering a lot of people are trying to be long US yen. Euro yen, there's conflict. British yen, there's conflict. Australian yen, there's conflict. Okay. If you're counter trend players, those are the ones that you need to look at. Reason why is they're counter trend, one time frame compared to the other. Okay. Pound, Euro pound is conflict. Euro Switzy is conflict. Australian Switzy is conflict. Pound Switzy is bearish. Australian CAD is bullish. Australian New Zealand is bullish, and New Zealand CAD is starting to become bullish. It's only 1 point away, so we'll definitely look at all these trades moving forward. Okay, so let's begin and let's go look at the charts. Let's go look at the Euro USD first, and let's go to the weekly time frame. If you remember last week's video, this was the bar we were at. We pretty much drew a line here. This was saying this was a resistance level here, and then we also drew another line here, which was right another resistance level. If you notice, this week we closed pretty much about 5 pips away from that, from what we had drawn. So we got to one level there. The next level is 40.12, and based on what's been happening right now in the bars, it looks like there's high probability we're going to get to 40.12. Now, as far as going higher than 40.12, I doubt it, but we're definitely going to get there. If we get there right now, what's going to happen is we're going to expect a pullback, possibly to levels in here specified by 1 or 5. So, you know, we're kind of expecting this thing to kind of go up to this level, then bounce off it. If it doesn't bounce off it right now, pull back, and then the question is going to be what's going to happen. And the reason why we're expecting it to kind of pull back is because this future cloud needs to flip over, and also the Chicago needs to kind of get into open space, and it's getting ready to go for a thick cloud. So we definitely see a lot of resistance now starting to occur, especially at this level here, and then the next level will be here, which I don't even think it's going to get to 41.66, but you never know. We'll have to wait and see. Okay, if you look at the daily time frame, you could see is still very, very bullish. It hasn't even penetrated the Tinkinson at all. You could see from Friday, it had a big, nice move up. So this thing is still very strong. We don't know what's going to happen. If you're in a trade already, just start taking some profits at this level, and definitely at this level here. But be very careful if you're entering a position for the very first time. Reason why is this thing's been trending already, and you don't want to get in at the very end of the trend. Okay, so let's go look at the pound USD. Look at the weekly time frame first. If you look at the weekly, basically we're stopped right at the level that we had said last week, which is at 59.22. Okay, we have yet to penetrate that level at all, and you kind of wanted to close above that in order to enter this trade. If you look at the recommendations made on Twitter, we were talking about maybe going some short-term trades to that level. We're at that level now, so we're pretty much taking profits. Okay, reason why is you don't see what's going to happen in that level. You could see we took profits there. Okay, and the reason why is you want it to be pretty much trading above that level in order for you to enter long term. Reason why is you're just testing the highs right there. So there's nothing really there at all for you. Okay, so wait and see approach, but this thing does look very, very strong. So we are sitting there watching this very closely for a very long term trade going up. Okay, let's go look at the US Switzy. US Switch Day, they could look at there's a weekly, there's a daily. Let's go look at the weekly. The weekly pretty much broke that level right there, right here. And if you notice, it broke this level here, which was kind of almost like a triple bottom for the US Switzy on the weekly time frame. And now looks like it's trying to go to the bottom of this little stop run right there. It's very interesting because this thing is still very, very strong. There's no sign of weakness at all on the weekly because it hasn't penetrated the Tinkinson. However, look at how far price is from the Tinkinson. That's a word of caution right now, so be very careful. Okay, let's go look at the daily time frame. Daily time frame, Chicago still in open space. It looks very good, and you could see the Tinkinson is falling price very, very well. So this thing still looks very strong going forward. Okay, let's go look at US Switzy. Let's go look at the weekly time frame first. If you look at the weekly time frame, this thing is still very strong. It's at its unknown levels, going lower. A lot of people are bullish on this, and they're getting their hands caught in the cookie jar. But you could see that this thing is yet to penetrate the Tinkinson very well. Okay, so that's not good at all. So this is still very bearish. My guess is that a lot of people are going to pretty much give up on going bullish on this until they see some sign of confirmation that it is bullish. And when they do, then they're going to basically go in. If you look at the daily time frame, this big bar gap up here was where the government intervened. Okay, and you could see that we are pretty much almost filled the whole gap here. Okay, so when we get to this level here, something's going to happen. My guess is it's going to bounce off there and probably consolidate between that level 84.61 and 83.03 for a little while, and then possibly go up in the next 2 or 3 months. But we'll have to wait and see what the chart happens. Remember, we're not going to put our emotions into trading at all. Okay, so now let's go look at Australian CAD. Okay, if you look at Australian CAD, let's go look at the weekly time frame. This thing is still very, very strong going forward. In fact, if we zoom out, okay, look at this. There's almost like a triple top now that's starting to occur. Okay, now we say this is a triple top. Reason why is even though you have this big price movement up and then it closed here, it closed right at the level that we expected it at 99.14. Okay, so really we don't think that it has penetrated this at all yet. Now everything's still very strong, so there's a high possibility this thing's going to keep on going. However, look at the price versus the Tinkinson. It's starting to become far. It's not that far right now because 300 pips is really nothing, but that is 30% of the whole currency pair. So we'll have to wait and see what happens on this one. But if you're in this trade already, I would definitely start taking some profits. If you look at the daily time frame, still has yet to penetrate the Tinkinson, but it's starting to pull back a little. And key will be what will happen right at the Tinkinson and then at the Cajunson. Okay, a pullback's definitely needed in this guy moving forward. Next one we're going to look at Australian New Zealand CAD. We've been looking at this one very, very closely, especially on Twitter. As you can see that this is a level here, 76.39, that we're waiting for it to penetrate to go longer. We did enter some short-term daily intraday trades. Some lower time frame trades in going up that level, but we're pretty much out now since they got to that level there. But you could see it's going to slowly moving, but has not made that big push movement up like Australian CAD has. Okay, so that's it for this week's weekly video. If you have any questions or want to see anything or want us to talk more about a certain currency pair during this video, please let us know. Feedback is definitely welcome. Here are my contact details, and then have a good week trading.